No one has ever or will ever.
About to react. That is.
Who here can speak like a man?
Beautiful.
Like
I
Travis was so impressed.
I've never seen so many.
Thought that this movie is so that's what it reminds me of. I felt wrong a little bit. Eyes, his nose, and his mouth. I don't know. Hi.
Hey! Welcome to Christian Creatives React.
My name's Hephzibah.
My name's Travis.
And we are two Christian creatives.
And we are about to react to King of Kings, the movie.
But the truth is, we already watched it.
So we're going to tell you about our reactions to it. King of Kings is an animated film of the life of Christ told through the lens of Charles Dickens as like a father telling the story to his son. And it's got an all-star A-list cast.
It was amazing,
that was a surprising lineup of talent, not
like
gonna lie, for
Uma
a Christian
Thurman,
film. Yeah, Uma Thurman,
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac as Jesus, Kenneth Branagh as Charles Dickens. You got Mark Hamill as King Herod, and more. Pierce Brosnan shows up.
It was so funny because there's like you know, if you know the story of Jesus, King Herod is only there for like 3 minutes.
But we needed we needed the voice of Joker and Luke Skywalker to do King Herod.
Search no further. You are bowing before the King of Judea now.
So yeah, we went, and overall, big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan of the movie, and I think that
this is the part of it.
I think that families should watch this at Christmas. Like, I think this should be your Christmas tradition.
Starting now.
Yes.
It might be Travis's kids'.
Yeah. There's a really good chance of that. But we want to tell you why I love it that much to say that I did cry.
That's what I was waiting for you to tell me.
I cried quite a bit. A lot of tears came out of my face. It was, and I loved it because the main thing is, movie or no movie, the gospel of Jesus is the power of God for those who believe. And it was really powerful for me just to connect to Jesus. I was crying and saying, thank you, Jesus. Like, it just became an opportunity for me to pray and worship. And so...
Would you say that's your like?
That is... Speaking of likes, why don't we talk about our...
Likes and yikes.
Okay, Hephzibah, what would be your big likes from this film?
So my biggest like for this film is, well, my background, a little bit about that is that I used to work with a kids ministry traveling around the US. There is like a very specific way of presenting the gospel to children that we would use. And what I loved about the movie 100% is that it did like beat by beat the same thing that we did. Like, to me, the most powerful moment in the movie was when the little kid asked his dad, like, hey daddy, why did Jesus have to die? And then his dad literally like grabs the book of Genesis. You know, like going in, I was kind of scared that the movie was just gonna be this like presentation of the life of Jesus from the perspective of a person who doesn't have any connection to it. Like,
just like a historical timeline of
not necessarily
his teachings and what he did and how he died.
Yeah, but not like a presentation of the gospel for children. And when I tell you that this movie was 100% a presentation of the gospel, like, I thought that was like so good and it was like so well explained.
Yes.
So like that's my biggest yike.
Beautiful.
like
big like on that.
Not
yes.
Not a yike.
That right before we're about to see Jesus die, it's like, stop. Why?
It was really, really amazing and touching to see that it really was made with kids in mind.
Yeah, so kids have a high emotional capacity, but they have low emotional vocabulary.
Yep.
So this provides
they can absorb and
the
not understand
vocabulary for their capacity, so that they, as they're seeing somebody die, they can process it
they can connect to it
as love and sacrifice rather than just scary
despair,
death and loss. So so big like from you on going back to Genesis. For me, I think a huge like overall is the use of Charles Dickens' son Walter as an emotional surrogate for storytelling. So kind of like what we were just saying, being able to watch the story of Jesus and to see another child
through the eyes of
processing that and to see, oh, I should feel sad when this happens, or I should feel excited and I should be I should be curious, so that a child is able to see another child being curious about, excited about, and even at first not really interested, but coming around to the beauty of the gospel. I think genius.
No, it was genius.
Like, it's not just Charles Dickens telling the story, but it's his son hearing the story and then gets excited about it and then goes, and at the end of the movie he's all excited about Jesus being alive, and then he goes, I'm literally getting chills right now.
Goosebumps.
He goes and he wakes up his siblings and is like, you gotta hear the story.
I have to tell you this story.
It's right away.
He starts evangelizing.
Yes.
Let's say
and
that.
so kids get to see what is it like for someone like me to experience the gospel message, to know that Jesus is alive, and to relate with him. That is like, I see what it's like to know Jesus.
I think for my next I am going to choose I was gonna say the fish as a joke because I wanted to call back to our first video.
The fish, because
when Travis
was
so impressed at the amount of fish. That was a lot of fish.
Oh, that's a lot.
Why do we help Jesus?
Also, the sheer number of fish was shocking to me.
You definitely were so shocked about the
I was
amount
like,
of fish.
well, because there's a lot of fish.
And there was a lot of fish, even in the movie. You could see. I think that
that's the point. You should be impressed by how many fish there are.
Be
impressed.
It's
a miracle. They said, I've never seen so many fish.
And it was true.
She's making fun of me, but
no, I'm not. I'm just saying it was impressive.
So you're not laughing at me. You're laughing about me.
Nope.
And how dumb that was.
No.
My other big like is the visual storytelling, or the visual, the metaphors. Two examples of just beautiful gospel communication.
Oh, yeah.
One is you see Jesus pull Peter out of the water after he's walking on water. But there's a callback to that moment later where the little boy is underwater and his hand is reaching up, and you see Jesus' hand come up, and you think Jesus is gonna pull him up again. But instead, Jesus grabs him, comes down underneath him, and pushes the boy up, and Jesus goes down. And you're seeing sacrificial love. You're seeing the death, the substitutionary death of Jesus.
It was. I was like, this is a crazy concept to want to share with children.
I am getting goosebumps again.
No, and it's true. It's like it was so good.
So that communication tool.
100%.
To visually demonstrate, and then you see Jesus on a cross under the water, and it's kind of a, that's what this is like. It was a show versus tell kind of situation.
For sure.
The other thing, visual storytelling wise, the boy starts to see Jesus in his dad. And when his cat gets lost, and his dad goes and finds the cat that he doesn't, so there's this kind of another sacrificial moment, but the boy experiences the love of his father, but he's connecting it to Jesus and to the heart of Christ. And so it's that just, they say that your parents is often the first visualization, the first example of what God is like to a child. And so that was a beautiful kind of visual representation of that reality.
It talked to the parents as well. I think that there are moments in the movie.
Oh, it's definitely a movie about parenting.
For parents.
It's a movie about parenting for sure. It's a little goofy, but
it's
you
funny.
can see some reality.
I love that this movie is funny. I'm gonna say that. And that's one extra.
Oh, that's not even a like. That's a love.
That's a love. It's a love. I love that this movie is funny and fun. Like, you have to remember one thing that one of my friends said. She was like, "I'm so glad that this movie had breaks between the segments of the movie,
I'm glad we're
between
talking
the
about
stories."
that.
Because honestly, like, when you talk about a kid, they're not paying. Like, it's hard to pay attention when you're little, and they have sort of found a way. To make it entertaining, having the cat.
It's a really clever use of interruption. And pacing so that
having
kids don't
having the kid
lose.
be the interruption. In a couple of moments was like.
When baby Jesus came into the world.
Wait, stop. If it's not about a king,
then I'm not interested.
This story is about the King of Kings.
This is like I'm hoping that parents resonated with like, yep, I have a 6-year-old who does that.
That's what
you
it's
know,
like trying to tell a long story.
Yeah,
to a
like
kid.
whenever you're trying to read a book and they're like, actually, is this where the dragon comes in? It's so
Very
good.
good.
It's so good. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Are
should
we ready
talk
for
about
some yikes? Yeah.
There are some yikes.
I'm gonna be the first one, and I don't think I've told you about this. Okay, so if you haven't seen this movie or if you care about spoilers, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah. Fast forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Oscar Isaac happens to be the voice of both Jesus and guess who? Satan at one point so, of the movie. And in my brain, as a producer, I was like, Oscar Isaac is like has been known to be like a consistently good actor for villains. So I was like, I do understand that thought. But giving him the voice of Jesus, a part of me was
and
like,
the voice
maybe,
of Satan.
you know, like
Yeah.
that felt wrong a little bit. I don't know. Like the moment the Satan started speaking, I was like, that sounds like Jesus. That sounds like Oscar Isaac.
You don't want kids to confuse the voice of God with the voice of Satan.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I would rather not.
Grab somebody.
With Jesus.
Who here can speak like a man?
Yeah. Big for me, the
Yeah.
consistent yike is character design with Jesus and just like the
twiggy
twig
plus
with a little like block
square
of a head on.
No.
But what was worse?
Here's
were
the thing.
the 12
we thought,
apostles.
No,
12
here's the
disciples
problem.
were-
We thought that Jesus' characterization was like, okay. But when I tell you that the apostles, again,
They're just goofy, too goofy,
th-
and like unhuman.
they were unhuman. That is a problem. Goofiness, it's fun. It's okay because being funny, again, that's part of a children's movie.
So you're
fun,
gonna
and,
have
like,
some
you're gonna have to-
exaggerated features and
But
stuff.
like
this was monstrously
This was like,
exaggerated.
I was like, why is this disciple's forehead the same length as the rest of his eyes, his nose, and his mouth?
Like you want it to be, you can laugh at them when they're being
Yeah.
funny, but that you don't want to laugh at them when they're being serious. I want to be
And-
able to take them
yeah.
seriously.
I think it would have been better to make them less extreme. Like,
Yeah. And
characterize
the
them,
Roman
give them
soldiers look like Clash of Clans.
a little. Oh my gosh, that's what it reminds me
Yeah.
of. And here's the thing, though, the kid is perfect.
Yeah, Walter's
Walter's
great.
characterization, his animation is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So back to a like.
I like
Walter.
there, yeah, like with the
Which
animation.
you better do it right.
And the dad,
You know?
and the dad,
Yeah,
the dad
and-
and Walter, and the mom. Like I feel like the present time characterization of people was like really cool. I think that when they were like, oh, we want to give it a slight twinge for the past, it didn't go as well as I think they would have intended.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I think that in several stories there were missed opportunities for
okay.
for a deeper connection with Jesus or
Oh, right, I
for
remember you were saying.
better clarity. So like I would say when Lazarus dies, Mary comes to him and she's crying.
Oh, there was
we
a
never
moment
see
there.
Jesus weep.
He didn't.
We never see him weep like over his friend who died. When they bring the paralytic on the mat and they lower him through the roof, there's literally like so much room there.
There's
so
like
you're,
three
it's
people.
Like, wait a minute. And honestly, I think that most of the yikes that I have are a matter of time. That there wasn't enough time to
That also makes sense.
to render all those people in that room. So
yeah.
I would say there's some missed opportunities in some of
that
the
makes sense.
stories and moments where, and I wanted when Jesus is on the road to Calvary, and Walter's on the road,
well,
and he
spoiler
falls.
alert.
He's looking up at Jesus, and Jesus doesn't look at him, and I'm like, oh, I wanted that eye contact moment. I just felt like that was
Except that he said, "Oh, don't even look at him, Jesus," when he was in the theater, because at this point
was like,
he
don't
was
even-
an
don't even.
absolute. Overall, what I took from this movie is that I will take good writing, even if it means having not perfect animation. I was so grateful for the writing, the structuring, like there was script. I would generally say whenever talking about like Christian media, I would be like, I'm not connected to the way that it's written, and I think that there are better ways to say that. Or the dialogue brings me out. Like maybe the story's good, but the dialogue is like, no one has ever or will ever say that. But there were so many believable moments of like father-child where I was like, I'm pretty sure that my parents said that to me one one time. Growing up, like it was so realistic in a good way. This movie gets a 5 out of 5 stars from me.
I would agree. I would give this movie 5 stars. The yikes that I have are really just like
they pale.
Yeah, compared to the opportunity to connect with Jesus. The last thing that I feel like I want to say about this movie is it walks a beautiful balance between making sure it's appropriate for children and still powerful for adults. Like as a 31-year-old man, almost 32 now, I connected with the story and I had the opportunity to pray, to thank God for what I was seeing and for my heart to continue to be stirred by the gospel, while also knowing that a child would not have to close their eyes. This is a visual story of the crucifixion that kids can watch without necessarily being overwhelmed by a bunch of gore and stuff like that. Definitely recommend showing it to your kids and watching it together at Christmas time.
They did such an amazing work. Like
watch
this
movie. Watch this movie with your kids. Last bit of good news. For anybody worried about Charles Dickens' maybe not biblical views about Jesus, there's nothing weird. There's nothing unorthodox. There's no weird, divergent anything. It's the gospel. It's for kids. It's for you.
We are so glad that this movie exists, and we hope to see more things like this. May more movies like this exist, and may we be the people that makes.
/ maybe react to them for you. If there's something that we had some comments on our last video saying, we were wanting people to react to The House of David. If there's anything else that you're wanting to maybe watch but want us to watch for you, let us know in the comments. Also, give us your likes and your yikes about King of Kings. Let us know what you think. We would love to hear your thoughts, and we will see you next time.
Bye.